Good evening, lovely people. I realised 30 seconds before going live how much green there is going on in this room. I should have just changed my t-shirt because I just look a little bit like a floating head now. And it only occurred to me like 30 seconds ago. I suppose I could have no, nobody wants to see me with top taken off. Yeah, it would appear I've sorted out the speed problem with the internet. Evening, Chris. How you doing? Yeah, that's my age. Although things speed up at my age, not slow down. I've sorted it out, but I've got a massive cable running across. Running across my landing. It's a temporary measure. I have a friend who's an electrician who's going to sort me out. He's going to wire this room. I'm on the free version of StreamYard as well. Good evening, Jeff. Because basically I've not made out of money up until, must be about 4 or 5 months ago. StreamYard was only about £10-15 a month, which I could stomach to entertain you lovely lot. But now it's like $35-40 or something like that, and you don't get much more than the free version, apart from a few better quality issues. But I mean, to be fair, nobody wants to see me in high resolution. Do you park the van down by the river? That sounds like a cue for a song, Jeff. Incidentally, what are your travels? Are you heading to the UK? I know you were suggesting you might come over this month at some point. Who else we got in the chat? 11 already. See, normally what I would do is just appear last minute and not wonder why nobody else turns up to join me. But yeah, well, obviously there's not that many people watch because I don't tell anybody I'm doing live. I have done. I got ahead of the game today. Just a little bit of housekeeping though. When I did the test live from this new and improved studio, there was quite a bit of echo and the connection speed was a bit ropey. So if you can let me know in the comments. Evening, Brian. Thank you very much for your help and advice. Yeah, it should. The rug, I've literally just picked this up from the range. So that should help with the echoing, but I need some feedback. Is it still echoey? I would turn the camera around, but I've had to revert to using the Insta again because the webcam was absolute poo. So, but anyway, enough about this technical nonsense. I have got some stuff to talk about, but introduce yourselves in the chat. Let me know who's watching tonight. Let me know where you're from, and let me know what you've got planned for the weekend. Cheers, because cheers, Paul. Is that a VFR on your profile picture? It's very tiny. You'll have to excuse me if some people are not fans of Hondas. Yeah, sound should be a lot better than it was last week on the test. Like I say, there are a couple of things I want to talk about, but just to introduce folks. Oh, you're from Manchester. Nice one. Thanks very much indeed for supporting the channel, Paul. Up to 14. None of my lives are as professional as you'd get from the likes of Carby Chris, unfortunately. But anyway, it's good to spend some time with you anyway. Unfortunately, we put the UK trip on hold till next year. I'll be looking for someone to give us a tour of Chorley. Yep, I'm your man. Castledale, I've got a very comfortable spare room. You're more than welcome to stay with us. This weekend, though, you are missing out, sir. I'm off to a bike rally this weekend. Imagine the typical the perverts and leather rally. Once upon a time, that it was as much a fetish rally as it was a bike rally. It's lots of fun, but these days, and mostly because of social media, it's very tame. But anyway, I'm going to resist the temptation to do a live from the rally because generally I'm not a drinker at all. In fact, it's probably only at rallies these days. I'll have a few runs, but yeah, I've got to make it. I'm going to resist the temptation to do a live from the rally. As fun as it might might seem to me it'll just be worth it. Evening Langley. The call, yes, VFR 800 2013. Nice. I've had a couple of Hondas in my time, but I've not been lucky, Paul. I've not been lucky. I'm a Suzuki man myself. I'm on my 7th Bandit at the minute. Steady Retro, good evening, sir. Thanks for joining us. Right, what are we doing on the 21st? Let's let it go a bit of Sunday. It's the light. It's the light. I'm jaundiced. Sounds breaking up. Is that for everybody or just I'm like, I think, like I say, this is only a temporary measure running this cable. I have actually plugged the Ethernet directly into the line, directly into the laptop. So I was hoping that would sort it, but it's a little cable going on around here. Some feedback. Oh, okay. What might be? Let me check close everything else. See if that helps. When you say feedback, it might just be my voice, Chris. Oh, no way of really seeing it. Is it still like that when you go on the chat? Maybe unplug the mic and then plug it back in. Yeah, hang on, let's try that. Hang on. Bear with me. Hang on, I can't find it. This art is going to be so professional. Hopefully that sorted it out. Right, let me catch up. Yeah, cheers, Chris. Helpful. Sound's gone freaky. Hi, Roger. No sound. That's better. Brilliant. Oh, Roger's from the future. Honestly, that my good lady is suggested she'd like to go to New Zealand. So yeah, one day. We are actually on our travels again. I know, yeah, because I'm so skin. We've booked a trip we're going to the Seychelles later in the year. So I'm really looking forward to that. Really looking forward to it. Where's the #1 tourist destination in New Zealand, Roger? See, Jeff, it's because you're a professional. Unplugging the mic and plugging it back in, it just worked. Is that like the same as turning it off and turning it on again? Thank you, my dear. Dead blue bottle. Hey, this is quality merchandise, this, you know. Good evening, Deborah. Oh, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, and thank you for joining us. Like I say, because I only pay for the free version of StreamYard, I can only stream to YouTube. So you guys have got all my attention. Have I lost some weight? No, it's the camera, honestly, and the fact that I'm wearing green. I'm creating my own green screen from the future. Don't have the lottery. Ah, bugger. That was my next question, Roger. Roger's been following the channel for a very long time now, and always pops up in the comments, which is always appreciated. It's like smacking the sound. You must be a professional. Did you work for Rumbelows? Let me show my age now. Everyone lives down the South Island, New Zealand. is that where the best riding roads are? Because you can be damn sure if I'm going all that way, I'm hiring a bike. And my missus is in the chat going, no, one day. Right, like I say, I've got a few things to talk about. Well, three actually, but they kind of they have the potential to be protracted points. The first of which being is the balance of positivity and negativity. Now, for the longest time now, I've said that the reselling community is just brilliant at bigging each other up and supporting. I've found over the years that there's not really any competition in reselling because everybody has their own take on it, everybody has their own levels of experience, and everybody has their own motivations for getting into it as well. So I've never really felt any kind of competition. In fact, the opposite is the case. The amount of times that people have gone out of the way to help me, and likewise I've gone out of my way to help other people with their reselling businesses and advice and all that kind of stuff. It really has. It really has helped me build my business. So I'll throw it over to you guys. How I'm obviously talking specifically about reselling now, but how are you dealing with positivity and negativity, especially around everybody's head drops when you're doing this, because it is quite isolating if you're running your own reselling business on your own and you haven't got anybody to bounce off. When I first started, that's one thing that I found particularly challenging. That'll serve me right for fiddling. Well, that's one thing I found particularly challenging was the isolation of it. I work for quite a big firm, and there was always somebody to chat to. So how are you guys dealing with that aspect of it? It's going to catch up on the chat. Thanks, I started reselling the eBay, not like just a few items. Best profit for charity shop I found. Luby alarm clock, £53 profit, invested only £6. Nice one. That's cracking. How long have you been? I'll call you Ryder. How long have you been doing it now? I definitely set that up. It's always interesting to hear what people's motivations for getting into reselling is as well. For me, it was to escape my job, which I was convinced was going to kill me. I was working crazy hours doing long distance driving. I haven't left that on. I haven't left that on screen on purpose, by the way, Jeff. I've gone backwards on the chart. Working holiday. Picos de Europa. Which area is that? Which area is that, Paul? Just rewatched Walking the Divine. That's worth a visit as well, Jeff. This time of year, I think this coming weekend, this coming Sunday, should I say, it's Mad Sunday on the island. I've done that once. Just crazy, particularly through the mountain section. If you during the Ironman TT races, they're very relaxed on speed limits, particularly through the mountain section. I was right at the limit of my ability on Mad Sunday, and there's people passing me like I was stood still. I watch YouTube resellers while I'm working. It feels like I have colleagues. That's fair enough, that Limelight, yeah. I just get annoyed by Jeremy Vine on Radio 2. I like it when there's working live during the day. Honestly, I promise you I didn't set this up. Couple of records. Very nice. That's not something I've ever considered doing, that a working live, because I think it's like when I do a live, I was going to say I put some effort into it. I don't really, to be fair. I've had a lot on today, so I haven't done quite as much prep as I would like to have done. Not least loading the bike for the weekend, which is clearly the most important thing. But I think if I was to do a live, like a working life kind of thing, I'd be way too distracted, and nothing would get done. It wouldn't be a very interesting life, and I won't get any bloody work done. Definitely down South Island, most scenic, a lot of organised ride with lunches, dinners, etc. The film The Helicopter Scenes, Mission Impossible. Wow, really? Is that the latest one? I fell out with Mission Impossible after the first movie. Yeah, a trip over there. I mean, some of the greatest riding roads in the world in New Zealand. Yeah, that's proper racing. In fact, Jeff, that's one reason I don't really watch MotoGP or anything like that, because once I've never raced the TT races, but I've gone rather quick around the Alaman TT course, and I can't imagine a track day getting anywhere near as exciting. Anywhere near. It's something else, that is. One thing I did learn from going to the going to the TT a couple of times is the best place to watch the racing is from Bushy's Beer Marquee on the promenade, because you can see it on the big screen while you're at the bar and you still feel like you're part of it. Fingers crossed everybody's safe this year. Well, your ears burning, Chris. Good evening. Thanks very much for joining us. You'll learn a thing or two about lives this evening. Honest. Ah, okay. Bilbao Santander. Brilliant. There's some of my mates have been down to the Faro Rally, which is not far from the port of Santander, I believe. Never been myself because, like I say, I have had touring bikes, but I wouldn't want to do any more than 100 mile on the Bandit. Honestly, it would not be comfortable. I'd be John Wayne in it for about a month afterwards. Problem with reselling is it costs a bloody fortune to mail stuff to the bottom of the world. That's very true. That I've had a few customers from your neck of the woods, Roger, and yeah, I don't envy you. I mean, it's even worse for GSP, I would imagine, as well. When I'm sending internationally, I only use GSP because of the protections and whatnot. But they do take the piss out of people. They really do. I understand that they've got to cover costs, but sometimes the fees that I'm getting fed back to me, or I'm getting told about by buyers overseas, it's just bonkers. Evening, Kevin. How the devil are you? From Florida. I think you are officially our furthest away. It's one of your countrymen in the chat, at least. You're a fan of the DMDC at all? DMDC. Go on, Andy. Give us a clue, mate. Danger Mouse? No. Might just insulted somebody. No. Let me know what DMDC is, mate. My brain's not working properly. Sound looks good. Might benefit a standalone mic to perfect it. Yeah, I think probably what it is because the mic's on the table, so it's probably getting a lot of, I don't know, bounce back and all that kind of stuff. This room's actually a lot smaller than it looks, so I've had to get a small table. Danbury Metal Detecting Club. Go on. Have I just jumped in on somebody else's conversation? Is that a Metal Detecting Club? No. There we go. Right, yeah. So anyway, getting back to the point. I mean, I found a quote before I came on live. I was looking for this, and it sounds a little bit airy fairy, but bear with me on this one. I'll paste it into the chat so you can have a look at it. And there's something like a 1 in 400 trillion chances that that we're alive today. And sorry, it's too long. It's gone over, and it's gone over to the next message. Maybe I should have just put the bloody link in instead. Anyway, yeah, 1 in 200 trillion chances of us being alive today. So if that doesn't make you grateful for being phenomenally lucky, if you use that as a starting point, then it kind of puts other things into perspective. We are tremendously lucky to be alive, and we've got to make our time while we've got it count. And people get stressed out over just the tiniest of things. It's good shout, mate. Good shout. Right, so basically the quote reads, let me read it because it's not posted in. So this is an analogy of how rare we are. Imagine a die with 1 trillion sides and 2 million people each rolling one. The odds of all 2 million landing on the same number are roughly the same as the odds of your existence. Let that sink in. Honestly, it's just the sheer blessing of being alive. We've got to make it count. I really feel like I've missed the trick here. Ah, the detectorists. Right, I've never seen it, so I don't get the reference. Oh, that sounds. Oh. Get the old grey matter working, Jeff. This last couple of weeks has been absolutely painful on eBay. I don't know how you guys are finding it just lately. I know there's been a lot of talk about the changing the fee structures, particularly around the promoted listings, which there's a lot of unhappy resellers about this. But I think obviously something that Chris mentioned on his live on Monday night quite extensively. Yeah, there's a lot of upset resellers feeling like they've been shafted by eBay. Personally speaking, I think we've got to ride stuff like this out. It's not like, I suppose you could vote with your feet, but where is that extra trade going to come from? I think with me, Vinted is taking up a lot of slack. Because last year I had an absolutely unbelievable year on Amazon. This year, because of the fall off a lot of retail and online arbitrage sources, it's just fallen off a cliff. I'm down something like 80% on last year on Amazon. Vinted has done a very, very good job of offsetting that balance positively. But like I say, I mean, eBay sometimes it feels like they're just trying to trip us up. I know, well, we like to think that they've got our best interests at heart because at the end of the day, if we're not making sales, they're not making any money. But for my part, I think we've just got to ride out the storm. You give a shout out to Craig, big fan of your channel. It's yet to meet your bone car, but absolutely, Andrew. Yep. I hope he's watching tonight. Send him the link to this, Andrew. By the time he gets here, I'll probably have gone anyway. I get less stressed the older I get. I realise that most things just aren't worth worrying about. I think, yeah, you're right there. I think not everybody does, but it kind of, when you get a bit more worldly wise, I suppose it's, yeah, you start appreciating what really is important. Incidentally, hot off the press news, a few of you might already know that my youngest daughter is expecting. She's due in October. Found out yesterday or a couple of days ago that she's having a girl, Nova Evelyn. While we're on the subject of things that really matter. I never really get stressed out. Always say shit happens. Always come to the reason wombats. Always come to that reason wombats done us. Nothing you can do about it. That's how I led my life. I'm married for 40 years. Now, fair play to you. Fair play to you, Roger. I mean, it's one thing. I get it a lot with YouTube. I get a lot of people who get the ump with me because they think they know me and all that kind of stuff, and negative comments through the channel and all that. And I'd be lying if I said that it didn't kind of make me feel some kind of way, but I don't take it on board. I might, in the moment, read the comment and think, "What the fuck." But I don't take it on board, and it's important that again going back to Limelight's point, the older you get, the easier it is to do because you have a greater appreciation for relativity, what really is important. And if you're the type of person that onboards other people's opinions, then you're on a mission to nowhere. Cool. Depends on what generation you're from and how entitled, ungrateful, and stress over nothing. Yeah. Sometimes the thing is, though, Paul. I mean, I don't know how old you are. I'm. If that's my birthday next week, I'm kind of very near my mid-50s. I'm really avoiding saying that anything that remotely sounds like it's not like it was in my day. I think that, or at least there seems to be a lot more entitled people of a younger generation today. And I think society has kind of pushed them that way by mollycoddling. I'm a big fan of everybody, kindness, and everybody having the same opportunities and all that kind of thing. But I think the pendulum can swing way too far the other way, where it breeds entitlement. Because if one thing I know for damn sure, us as human beings are lazy. If there's an easy route to take, or we're being forced to take an easy route, then there's not going to be any fight to take it. As I knew where else, last year you said you wanted to be mortgage free this year. Well remembered, Roger. Well remembered. And technically, I achieved it. I should. That's really impressed me, that actually. Technically, I paid my mortgage off, but only technically. So if I liquidated my business completely, I could pay my mortgage off, but that would be defeating the object. After making that rather bold statement that I wanted to be mortgage free by the end of the year, I had 4 holidays and a weekend away, a new front yard, and a van. So yeah, the kind of priorities changed. It's still on the cards, and to be fair, I'm overpaying on my mortgage, and I have been for the last 12 months. And I've never overpaid on my mortgage before. Never. Cheers, pal. Yeah. Nova Evelyn, she's going to be called. Lovely name. I haven't told my daughter that it's also a Vauxhall car. I hope she's not watching. I'll be so much trouble. Definitely noticing up in attitude. Obviously, it's got to be. Usually a reference to your grandkids, but lately a few more references to your girlfriend. Yeah, she's probably still watching. So I mean, I wouldn't say a bad word against her anyway. Yeah, she's really sound. She is really sound, and it's gratitude, Jeff. I'm really grateful for being alive. For one, I'm really grateful for the position I'm in. Um, there's there's a lot of people in a much worse boat than me, and but even so, I think it's again human nature to feel a bit of woe is me, and I still get stressed out. I still have off days and my head drops and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't take very long for me to get shit into perspective and think actually you're blessed. You're really blessed. Not least because I've got an amazing family. I mean, if rightly so, if anybody should be grounding you, it's your kids. Cheers, pal. I appreciate that. Yeah, like I say, sometimes I think I'm quite conscious of it, um, particularly when I'm filming or doing a live or something like that. I mean, obviously the pre-recorded videos are a lot more. They've got a pace to them, and I've cut out all the times I say which is a lot, and just put a bit of pace to the videos. But I'm very conscious of how I come across. Not because I give a shit about people, what people think about me. I really don't. But I don't want to be the reason somebody else's head drops. In fact, quite the opposite. If I can, in some small way, make somebody smile, I don't know, inform people, or just try and generate a bit of positivity, whatever, however tiny that might be, then I'll try and do it. I use I'm not a comedian, but I use comedians as an example. I think that's a superpower. If you can make somebody laugh and brighten the day, then you are an absolute freaking rock star in my books. I never stress that. So laid back. You're 46. That's the sweet spot right there, Paul. 46, mid 40s. That's just it. Doesn't get better than that. When you start hitting 50, you still feel like you're 46, but shit starts creaking. October, best month to be born. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Yeah, you can give it a little bogus, but I mean, to be fair, I mean, my other grandkids are, in fact, Millie will be 8 the day after my birthday, so she's 8 on Friday next week. And our Freddie's 10. So it's been a long time since I changed the nappy. I'm not really looking forward to that bit, but on the plus side, I can have it back afterwards. The babies, not the nappies. But I can have nappies as well if you want. Yeah, I was. Do you know what? That's always. I've talked myself into and out of selling my bike about half a dozen times this year already. I keep looking at it. If I didn't have a bike in the garage, I'd just go mad. And confession time, I probably did about 600 miles last year, if that, on my bike. But I know it's in the garage. And if I want to take it out, I know I can. If I didn't have a bike in the garage, then yeah, it definitely drive me mad. And it's only worth about 800 quid as well. So it's not it's not like I'm selling something really rare to, I don't know, buy a Ferrari or whatever. Good evening, Claire. How the devil are you? Or do you get more you realise all you have to be thankful for? Yeah, definitely. I think I don't think it's like a mortality thing or anything like that, because um, I suppose that creeps in a little bit. It makes you appreciate. It makes you appreciate the small things and what's actually important. Not the. I think when I was in my 20s, I thought having a good career was important. I thought that having a nice house or things were important. And you very quickly learn how insignificant they are in the grand scheme of things. And the number one thing in my book is happiness. It's happiness. If you can live a happy life, the best you possibly can, then that's the key. That is the key to a happy life, just to be happy. And followed by, if you can share that, then yeah, you're a rock star. How much time would you say you spend on editing your regular videos? Hour and a half. It's probably not that much to be. Oh, I don't know though. Yeah, that's a really good. I've never actually thought about it. I mean, my videos are usually around about 30-minute mark. Some sort of like 25, some maybe up to 40 on occasion. And it probably takes me about 3 hours total. It used to take me a bit longer actually. I've started using Premiere Pro instead of LumaFusion. LumaFusion is great, but Premiere Pro is a lot more intuitive and quicker. And the file size is small. I'm getting a bit technical here, but if I'm producing a video in LumaFusion, it might be 30, 40 gig or something crazy like that. And it's only about 6 or 7 for better quality with Premiere Pro. It's great each time. Yeah, the little stars, absolutely, so funny as well. So funny. So the plan is, don't spill the beans. The plan is for Millie's 8th birthday next Friday. She's busy on her actual birthday, but on a Saturday, I'm going to take her out for afternoon tea, and then we're going to get our nails done. And yes, I am going to get my nails done as well. Don't sell it, you'll regret it. 100%, mate. 100%. In fact, even if I come into a bit of money and I'm really fancy at baking. I've had 2, and they were the best bike I've ever had by a very long way. But I think I'd always keep the Bandit. I love my Bandit 12s. 600 miles. Yeah. It was actually, yeah. I did the rally that I'm doing this weekend. I did that last weekend. Last year, should I say. That was maybe a couple of 100 miles. I went to a place called Dent just for a quick visit. That was probably, about an 8-hour round trip or something like that. And aside from that, I just took it to the garage twice. It was definitely quality. Yeah, definitely quality. Helps if you have a job. I love to be alone, so I'm a truck driver. And I left home, not stuck in one place, get paid to see the country. I love to have my radio if no truck drivers. Yeah, definitely. My last job actually, Roger, before I started reselling full time, I did long distance driving. It was just a big ass van. I used to deliver motorbikes for a living. And I was the same. I just loved it. I got left alone. I could set off when I wanted, and it was job and finish. I've got access to cheap bikes because of the firm I worked for, which was always a bonus. But the only downside was the hours that I worked. It was just crazy hours. I used to go out on a Friday night to watch some live bands with friends, and that was my thing. I loved it, absolutely loved it. But it really quickly, once I started getting into the driving job seriously, it quickly got to the stage where by the time it got to Friday, I was that knackered. I don't want to go out. And by I was just about getting back to some kind of normality on Sunday, ready for starting work on the Monday again. It was really demoralising. So yeah, fair play. But I do get the. In that job, you have to enjoy your own company. To be fair, it's actually thinking about it. I've thought about it like this before. It's probably a good introduction to being self-employed because that's much the same. Spend a lot of time on your own, shouting at the radio. Hi, Joe. Is business keeping you busy? Definitely. And what we've just been talking about, Joe, about the hours that I used to do in my previous job, this is the biggest irony. I probably do more hours now on my own business than ever did driving. But I love what I do. It doesn't feel like real work. And I can come and go as I please. And if the grandkids have got something on at school, display or a play or whatever, I can just drop everything and go and have a look. But yeah, I do put a lot of hours into it, to be fair. Sold my Harley almost 2 years ago. I feel like tearing up right now. Oh, it's tearing up. Do you know what? I was just about to say that, Jeff. Every time I think about that, I tear up for you. I've got just one thing to put to you guys in the chat, and it is recently related. For those of you that operate on eBay and Vinted, um, how do I want to put this actually? So for me, I've been on with Vinted Pro since October last year, and it was such a ball ache to get sorted out. Once it was sorted, though, it kind of it started picking up a bit of traction. It wasn't really making a right lot of noise until just recently. One thing that I've noticed, and I'm avoiding jumping to any conclusions on this, is when eBay, and it's probably been a month now, if truth be told, when eBay started really getting quiet, and a lot of people have been saying they've been getting quiet, I've noticed a big uptake on Vinted. My sales on Vinted have gone absolutely bonkers, and it's the same stuff. I use a CrossList there, a link in the description. Incidentally, you get 30% off if you use it. I use a CrossList from eBay to Vinted. The Vinted sales have been off the scale good. So over to you guys. Have you had a similar experience with sort of like the eBay Vinted swing? I mean, I suppose for some people, if you just eBay resellers, then get onto Vinted because, well, I mean, why wouldn't you? Adam's Chelford worth as a buyer. Yeah, definitely. Get there earlier than I did, though, Paul. Definitely. I got there. I think they say it starts from 7:30. I got there at 6, and I felt like I was late. So if I was to go again, I'd probably get there about 5:30 in the morning. It fills up slowly. But what I did find with Adams Chelford is there was quite a decent mixture of private sellers on there rather than excessive amount of traders. I always say that. I know a lot of people moan about Bolton because the amount of traders that are on there, but you can really get some good deals from traders as well. So, in fact, all of my wholesale suppliers have come from conversations that have started at a boot sale with a trader. It's not necessarily the person I was speaking to initially that has become a wholesaler to me, but that's been the route to them, like a friend of a friend starting a conversation, all that kind of stuff. In fact, then again, so that, I mean, this week, and if he's in the chat, thanks very much again, John. Somebody I used to work for said there's a friend of mine having a shop clearance. They want to get rid of all the stock. Can you save them a trip to the boot sale? And I said, yes, I bloody well can. Trade skills have got on very good. Love the footage from way up high and larger boot sales. Yeah, I'm looking at taking my A2 license, Jeff, so I can get a bigger drone, a fancier one. I'm really getting into it actually. So at the minute, I've kind of read the drone code from the Civil Aviation Authority inside out, just to make sure that I'm staying within legal confines of flying. I've got 2 drones now actually. The DJI Neo, which is brilliant, but the camera's a little bit. It's a vlogging camera, and the Flip. They're both sort of like the 2 cheapest DJI drones you can get. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, you can be expecting a lot more of those shenanigans and more. Hi, Kath. How are you? I reshared that picture that Lee sent. Very funny. Yeah, she is lovely, Kath. I bumped into her a few times. It's been a while since I bumped into you, Kath, but it's always a pleasure talking to you. How you put hourly, I'll never know, but there you go. Just a question: have you considered? All right, okay. No, I haven't. Oh, no, that's not true. I have, Roger, but it's not going to happen. I've considered buying a commercial property as well, but the reason it won't happen for me is because affordability. I'll be 54 next week. I'm not getting a mortgage from anywhere, and I don't want to have to afford one either. Um, it just doesn't make sense for me at all. It'd be nice. I mean, if I had a bit of land, even let alone a property, I'd stick some shipping containers on. Did you know, incidentally, you could buy a 20-foot shipping container for about £3 plus VAT, a new one? I know obviously it's a lot more to running a shipping container yard, but I'd do that, I think. But no, I know that I know George Ross, Retro Reselling. He's built a big shed in his back garden, and I don't know if it works for him. Then I can see I can see the reason why he's done it. It's quite a large space, and for that space, he would be paying probably what he pays for the finance payments every month anyway. But for me, that would be. Um, I don't like that kind of financial commitment. I don't like debt for a start, and anything can happen. Anything can happen. The arse could fall out of the reselling game, leaving you with having to make these payments and not using it for its intended purposes. I mean, that's not a slight against George, because I mean, when I first started reselling, I just watched every single one of George Ross's videos, and for a long time, our business models were very, very similar. I've met him a couple of times personally, and he is as nice in person as he is on film. So yeah, he's a top bloke, but I wouldn't want that I wouldn't want that hanging over my head. I started my reselling business with 20 quid, and I've never, not once, had any kind of finance, and I don't intend starting soon, that's for sure. I hope that answers your question, Roger. Just started Vinted 2 weeks ago, really slow for me. It'll pick up, Claire, stick with it. I'm assuming you mean Vinted Pro rather than a private account. I mean, very quickly, you'll probably find that if you're on a private account, they'll try and flip you over anyway. Yeah, stick with it. Have you been through the verification process instantly, by the way? Because that was a huge pain in the backside for me. It was like probably best part of 3 months of just fretting and screaming and shouting at them to get it sorted. It was a nightmare. But I've, touched wood, not had a single bit of problem since I got verified. Yeah, stick with it. And if you're not using a that's going to sound like an advert. I'm only telling you about this because I use it myself, and it's absolute grail. CrossList. I know there's alternatives as well to CrossList, but I use CrossList very, very, very successfully. There's some very exciting news coming on the 2nd of June about CrossList as well. I don't know the finer details, so I'm not going to sort of like over egg it at the minute. But if you do want to give CrossList a go, in all of my videos, there's an affiliate link. You get 30% off. So it doesn't cost you any more. Well, it doesn't cost you any more because it's an affiliate link. You just get 30% off, and I get a bit of a kicker as well. I only buy it on Vinted, never sold on it. I've got a friend who does the same thing. Like he buys a lot of cameras and stuff like that. In fact, he tells me he got me onto the shipping container yard actually, and he's still there. Really nice guy called Wes. He does all his buying on Vinted and flips it on eBay, and he just sits there all day, refresh on Vinted. I think that drives me nuts. I have to get my hands dirty. Vinted picked up a lot better in the last few weeks, but so has eBay in the last week. Vinted's been, I won't say it's overtaken eBay. I don't know though, there's been a few days where it probably has. The only reason eBay has picked up for me in the last week, I'd say, is because I've changed the way I do things. Now, I used to promote at 4.1% across the board. I've increased that by 1%. I've also changed my shipping preferences, so I do same day dispatch now because I wanted to achieve the eBay Premium Service badge because you get 10% off final valuation fees. I've used that discount to offset the extra spend on promoted listings. It's still costing me probably still costing me a little bit more, but yeah, I don't know if it was a bit of a panicky move, but I've never. It's been years since I've had a no sale day on eBay, but it's been over the last probably month. I've had days where it's only been 2-3 sales. I've had a bit of a bad run with returns just recently as well. So yeah, I needed something to G it up, and that was it. And hopefully they'll get their act together and start listening to resellers and sort of just crazy fee system on. In fact, after watching Chris Saden's live on Monday, every single reseller I bump into are asking the same question: do you know what your net figure is on a sale? And none of them, not one of them, can tell me the net figure on a sale because the eBay fee structure is so confusing. I mean, I've always said you can only look at your month-to-month figures anyway for an indication of how well your business is doing. Because if you looked day to day or week to week, you drive yourself nuts and stress yourself out. So, and aside from a bit of a drop over the last couple of months, it's not a million miles away from about right my figures. But like I say, it's going to be different this month because the figures have dropped off. You won't be asking the same price on Vinted. Everyone wants something for nothing, I find. I do, actually, Chris. Sometimes if it's an expensive item with loads of margin in, I'll knock the price on Vinted down just to tease that sale. But when I cross-list at eBay prices, knowing that people will just put stupid offers in all the time. That's not fair. They'll put an offer in all the time that's a lot lower than I'm comfortable taking. So at least that gives you more negotiation room if the same level as well. With CrossList, you can actually set price variations. So if I list something on eBay for X amount of price, I can automatically reduce that price by X percent for Vinted if I wanted to. I never do that. I've been meaning to get in gear. I reopened my eBay account. I've got a lot of stuff just before Christmas. Lost my house and an apartment. I had a garage and a bar house. No room for it. Room is. It's when I this room I'm in now. Actually, I started reselling in this room. Just I'm mirroring myself against this wall. Was my packing desk come photo booth. Where I'm sat, a space not much bigger than this chair, was where I had to stand in the middle, and it was just racking all around the rest of the room. So you got to start somewhere. I think that the most important thing is, Joe, is just keep going. Even when it feels like you're wasting your time, keeping an eye on your figures and keep going. It's the only way. There's only two things that you need to be successful in reselling or any business. That's persistence and patience. As a shopper, I prefer the transparency of Vinted, showing the sale price and then the fee price rather than eBay's weird odd price listing. Yep, 100% Mark, 100%. It's confusing for buyers now, let alone sellers. And I think particularly, mean, it's been a very long time since I've sold anything privately on eBay. It'll probably be it won't be my first choice of selling something of my own privately, that's for sure. I'd definitely go down the vintage route. But then again, saying that, I mean, I just wear things till they fall off me and use things till they fall apart. Cherry, bloody hell, are you, Chuck? It's been a long time. How the devil are you, Cherry? Lee is the kind of guy, I could go for a pint with Lee. I could go for a pint with Lee. I think it's sound. After buying leather from a bloke in the field, last thing we need is you with the drone. I actually found out reading the drone code that I can fly my drone because of the weight of it a lot closer to people. I've been staying back. So yeah, just watch out. Oh, Richard, good day, sir. How the devil are you? Sick Will, hi pal, was watching your videos the other day and my missus walked in and she told me that she used to clean your house in Chorley. Did she? What's she called? I've only ever had 2 cleaners. I sound like a right snob. Anyway, in my defense, I'm going to rush to my defense here. Yes, I do have a cleaner still. It might be the same person. It might be, is it Kim? But that's my guilty pleasure. I don't drink very much. I gave up smoking a long, long time ago. I don't have any guilty pleasures. But my guilty pleasure is having a cleaner once a month to help me keep on top of things. Best money spent ever. Just wondering, as everyone's different, I don't know your life, but I consider your channel one of the best to watch on YouTube. I appreciate that, Roger. Thank you. Yeah, I try to be transparent. Sometimes shit gets lost in the edit when I'm editing videos. Things get taken out of context and all that kind of stuff, which I get that, and people are going to feel some kind of way about it. But I think it's your intent with a lot of things. If your intentions, I don't want to say go so far as to say it as strongly as being noble, but if you've got genuine intent, then people are still going to not like you or whatever. And like I say, I take the negative comments and all that kind of stuff in the same vein as I take the positive ones as well, because in each case, that those people, whether they like my content or they really don't like my content, they don't know me and I don't know them. So it's the same really. And let's face it, positive or negative comments help the channel. So you can say what the hell you want on my videos. Don't give a monkeys. Hit the thumbs up bit, that'd help. But yeah, a comment is a comment. YouTube doesn't know whether you're calling me a dickhead or calling me a superstar. They don't care, and neither do I. What's your dream job? I do not dream of labour. My dream job, be a digital nomad. I'd love to be a digital nomad. I'd love to be a travel vlogger. Yeah, I think that's probably it. But not have to do it to earn a living. Get paid for it still, but not have to do it to do a living, for a living. Oh, yes, Chris. Thank you for asking that question. It's been a very long time since we've had a Saturday Night Live. Probably a few next week. Different time. Rich, we need to do a collaboration. Let's kickstart Saturday Night Live again. That used to be the place to be on a Saturday night. Lots of photography, volunteering, lots of naps. Oh, naps are just the best, only. Naps are the best. Yeah, cheers, buddy. This used to be the everything room. Everything started in this room. It's amazing what a liquor paint can do. Next time I'll have to wear a different colour t-shirt though. So there is actually a green screen function on StreamYard, and there'd just be a floating head in the middle of the screen if it's ended on. It'd be pretty funny though. There shouldn't be any guilt attached to having a clean it can help with mental health. Yeah, definitely. I'm not a particularly grotty person. I mean, I'm quite lazy when it comes to housework, to be honest, but that's only because I've got to clean it. But yeah, it's just, I'm more, yeah, I'm not untidy, put shit away after me and all that kind of stuff. But it's just like, I don't dust. So dust builds up normally. Oh, and also helping somebody else out with their business by employing them. See, I'm just grasping at straws of excuses here. Cleaning is equivalent to like 2 or 3 packets of cigs a month. Probably. Been a long time since I smoked. Long time. That's why they could tell in some lovely photos. Yeah, it's missing something, isn't it? It's missing something on that wall. I don't want any. Apparently, I've been watching a lot of videos on this subject. Behind your head and shoulders is supposed to be nothing going on, nothing busy, but in the periphery, that's where the stuff needs to be. So I'm thinking on this wall, like some kind of chair, maybe. Answers on a postcard. Been meaning to ask if you've done any testing in the new van yet. Well, at car boot, like electrical, for example, it does have power supplies. So last year, I think only once or twice. Only once or twice. It's kind of. I've not picked up a right lot of electricals anyway, just lately, Roger. And the bits I have done, the more like Humax boxes or the DVD recorders and all that kind of stuff. So I need a monitor or something like that in there as well. And it's the to and fro in. And generally speaking, I won't pick it. I won't buy it unless it's ridiculously cheap anyway. So worst case scenario, and it's the time as well. Going back to the van testing all that lot, and I just go around buying stuff. So it's a good idea in theory, but in practice, it's yeah, it just doesn't really work for me. It does come in handy when I go camping though. 250 grand cut off weight for the drones needs registered. Yeah, well, 249. So for the way it is, if you've got a drone with no camera up to 250 grams, you don't need anything at all. You can fly it at will, basically. If it has got a camera up to 249 gram, you have to have an operator ID, which is basically, it's £11 a year. It's like a registration sticker that you put on the drone. So if anything happens, then the authorities know that that drone belongs to you and standby kind of thing. It's just, it gets a little bit more legislative over 250 grams. And the drone that I want to aim towards, which is, it'll be very cinematic and extremely high picture quality and all that kind of stuff, I will need an A2 license for. I mean, this thing will follow a vehicle and all that kind of stuff. So I've got this, I've kind of got this in the back of my head, going out on the bike and having the drone follow me and get some footage that way as well. I think that'd be cool as hell. He's got bugger all to do with reselling, of course, but still. That's brilliant. Horizontal live pauses, naps. I'm glad you said naps at the end there, Cherry, because I mean, this is a family show. Send you a message to him and you can sort something out in the near future. Yeah, I've already primed Chris Hayden and Kaji. So at some point in the next, what my plan is to do a pre-record rather than do a live with 2 people. This is my channel, obviously. I'll come to yours, of course. Do a pre-record not interview, but sort of like chat and then publish that video. I think a lot of people might get. I like the idea of a couple of resellers bouncing off each other, like chewing the fat kind of thing, and see if there's any value in that for a wider audience. Thank you very much, Seabiz. This is my extremely impressive Amazon tree. I think it was 30 quid, bargain. Almost done over an hour. A bit of a slow start, lots of ums and ers. I mean, when this gets uploaded after the live, people are going to lose interest in the first sort of like 20 minutes. It was dog shit. But see, now you guys are involved, we found a bit of a funk with it. Did you see my date suggestion, Dave? I didn't actually, no, but I'm not that kind of girl, Kath. Tell them not a reseller, plus we don't really have car boot sales in New Zealand. It's not really a thing, sadly. It's I know in the States they call them flea markets, Roger, but in New Zealand, I mean, surely there's sort of like something vaguely similar, like thrift stores, or I suppose there's charity shops everywhere kind of thing, but bring and buy, whatever they call it, bring and buy, is that type shenanigans. I think there's trade wherever you go. My dad used to have DJI Phantom 4 before legislation was set in stone. It's great fun. Do you know what? Some of the small ones, the sub 250 gram drones, are just crazy good. My first drone was the DJI Neo. I mean, say first drone. This was only maybe 6 months ago or something like that, and it's just crazy good. It'll shoot 4K. Well, it'll shoot HD. It'll follow you. It does loads of things with just the drone. You don't even have to have a controller, and you can fly like a normal drone as well. Get up to 7 kilometers away. One of the legislations for a drone like that is has to be in line of sight, but the Neo is probably about that big. I know it's obvious you can't see how big that is. It's very small, very, very small, probably the size of 2 egg boxes, say. And once that gets over 30 foot in the air, you can't bloody see it. You can't see it. But anyway, that's the legislation. And the drone on its own, I think it was about 160 quid, something like that. For a DJI drone, that's really cheap. And if you have a look at some of the reviews online, they're just amazing. The only thing that lets it down a bit is the camera, the video quality. Exclusive podcasts. Yeah. I'm not really. I've never looked into podcasts, to be fair. I don't think. I mean, what I intend doing with this room and doing more regular lives and maybe pre-records with other content creators and resellers, well, not necessarily content creators, with other people. I think that'll be enough of a time expenditure, because generally speaking, Thursday and Friday nights are my nights where I haven't got much going on, so I can put my feet up and sit in my boxes watching crap on the telly. Yes, mate, Dave's brothel. I haven't earned any money at all yet. It's been open 53 years. I like the idea of a drone, but won't trust myself driving something in the air. You go out in the middle of nowhere, Cherry, and just get the hang of it. It's just like playing a video game. The only downside to it is there's all these, they call them auditors, or I like to call them knobheads, that are going to force a legislation change for smaller drones. these people will fly drones over cop shops and stuff like that, just to get a reaction, so they get some traction on social media and stuff like that. Just no, these people are just going to get the rest of us punished. You should be that in front of the car. Nope, missed it. These drones are fairly easy to fly, nothing like radio controlled helicopters. Yeah, used to fly back in the early 90s. Yeah, that's scary. I won't clunking in the back of the head of one of those, Jeff, that's for sure. It used to be a big thing. Well, it probably still is in certain circles, but I lived down south, and there was forever somebody flying I mean, the model planes that you fly, they're just as big as this room. 1.4 kilogram. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, you can see why. I can see why there is legislation, because like 1.4 kilos, if that drops on you from height, then that's going to do a lot of damage. I mean, even the Neo's only like 140 gram or something like that with the battery. If that drops on your head, you're going to say ow. But yeah, something like that, I mean, it could kill you. So you can see why there is legislation. I think even when I do my A2 license, and when I finally save up enough scratch to get the drone that I really would like, I think even then I'd be hard pushed to fly anywhere near people or property, just in case. DJ audits, I've seen them idiots. Yeah, I mean, why? Well, I know why. It's for bloody, it's for views on the channels and all that kind of stuff. They're earning money from it, but it's something's going to happen. Something serious is going to happen, and then the CAA is going to say, right, if you've got a drone, you have to get a license. In fact, in 2028, they are. I'm not entirely sure how it works, but there's going to be a firmware update to all drones that sends a signal out. So anybody with a scanner, the authorities with a scanner, can, if they're anywhere near a drone, can tell whose that drone is, and you have to be on the register. There is an argument to say that there's probably going to be a way around it. I know with DJI drones, I had this. I think it was last weekend before last, I was near Manchester Airport. DJI drones won't even take off if you're in a no-fly zone. But I suspect it might be a similar kind of thing where the signal that's emitted that lets the authorities know who the drone belongs to, there's probably some kind of way that they can ground the drone, essentially, if it's not being flown properly. Which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think the policing of it is going to be awkward. Got thrift stores, a couple of markets, not really. Go to field and sell out your car. You should start that trend, Roger. That could be your thing of a weekend. You could be the car boot king of the Southern Island. Facebook Marketplace, friggin' marketplace with a passion. It's just the most, you meet them, you hear from the most ignorant people on Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of nowhere. Go for it, Sherry. Treat yourself. That's even with the Fly More kit for the DJI Neo, which you get I mean, you can fly the drone with your phone or on its own, but you can fly it on your phone as well. But it's restricted to like a Wi-Fi signal, so you could probably only realistically get about 20-30 foot. But with the Fly More kit, which is about 200 quid, you get 3 batteries and a controller as well, and it'll fly up to, I mean, you're not allowed to because it has to be line of sight, but you can fly up to 7 kilometers. It's loads of fun, loads and loads of fun. And then you can upgrade to the FPV goggles, so it puts you in the drone, so you're flying around. It's brilliant. Can you tell I'm a bit of a geek? DJ Audit's not too bad, but DJE Media is proper plonker. All right, their channels, are they? Always pushing the boundaries to the limit, run it for everyone with drones. Yeah, it's going to happen, Paul. It's going to happen. I think that's in the back of my mind. That's one of the reasons why I do my license. I think it's about, I've heard about, say 150 quid to do the test, and then I'm not sure if it's the same every year or whatever it is, kind of thing. But if it gets to this stage where legislation stops or takes the fun out of flying drones, basically, then I'll definitely get the license, definitely get it done. I think just for content, there's some people who are not a fan of the drone content in the videos. That's fine, whatever. I quite like putting it in. I quite like filming it, and I quite like putting it in the video. And I think it just makes it a little bit different from everybody else's as well. So there's plenty of other channels out there. If you don't like mine, that's fine. Good on stately owned wines on folk up. Yeah, definite balance. Before they were drones like DJI makes now, I attach a disposable film camera to the bottom line. See Ellie use a spare servo motor to activate the shutter and land. You're an engineer, aren't you, Jeff? I can tell. Land, advanced film, repeat, brilliant. Right, I tried to attach a GoPro to the bottom of a Temu drone before now. Scratched the lens of the GoPro. This goes back on this later. Yeah, the thing is that they clearly it's nothing to do with getting some nice aerial footage of stately homes and all that kind of stuff. It's all about winding people up. There's a guy, I forget his name, he's a piano player who plays on the pianos in London, in the railway stations and stuff like that. They're all over the place. And he's the boogie woogie something or other. Anyway, he's quite a good pianist, and it's cool that he entertains people and all that kind of stuff. But it's really, really obvious that he's just there to antagonize people or to get people turning up to argue with him and all that kind of stuff. The dynamic of the channel changed, and I don't know. It's just negativity. It's a shame, really. I was thinking about this the other day, actually, because I watch a few, not very many, but I watch a few other reselling YouTubers and all that kind of stuff. And you tend to find the topics that are quite negative. Those videos perform really, really well. It's not a slight, but an example is Jay Flipping Sloth, when he had a video about somebody getting knocked out. That video went crazy, absolutely crazy, because it was edgy, it was drama and all that kind of stuff. If you make a video that could potentially earn somebody £10,000 this year, then you're frigging interested. Maybe you could, right, have a fight while showing people how to do shit as well. I don't know. Negativity sells. It's crazy. It's very annoying. Yeah, unfortunately, Chris, it's still, I've made them all the money by then, so I won't give the monkeys. Give you great videos coming out. Catch up with you down in New Zealand one day. Yeah, for sure, for sure. All the best to you, Roger. Catch you soon. I'm going to wind this up very shortly anyway. I'm really getting down to the bottom of the chat. Imagine what people could do if they use their energy for positive instead of negative. Do you know what? That is the best. The best comment to finish this live on, Sherry. Thank you. Absolutely. If it's a superpower, making somebody smile is a superpower. If you can try and be a bit positive, even if you're feeling down yourself, then you're a legend. Because sometimes, I mean, case in point, every time I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning of a Sunday, every single time I have to force myself to be like, hi, yes, here we go. That's all bollocks, but it sets my mind, it gets my mindset right for the rest of the day. I'm going at it. I'm going at the day then, rather than dragging my feet and dragging my arse. So sometimes you really have to force yourself to be positive. But the rest of your brain will catch up. If you force it, your brain will catch up. And we'll leave it on that note. Thank you for that comment, Sherry. Yeah, definitely. We've done an hour and 20 minutes, folks. Thank you very, very much indeed for joining me. Oh, 1 second. That sounds a lot like this one time at band camp. Did you used to be, I want to be inventor in your younger days, yeah? Anyway, we're going down a different route now. I'm winding this up. Thanks very much for joining me, guys. I really, really appreciate all your support. Apologies for the slower start to this live. It's always a lot of fun spending time with you guys. I've got a video coming out on Saturday, as usual. I can't remember what it was about. It's a good one. Yeah, so check it out, 5 o'clock on Saturday. I will endeavour to do another live. No, I won't. I was going to say I'm going to endeavour to do another live next Thursday, but my lady is taking me out for dinner for my birthday. So, right, love you lots. See you soon. Thanks for all your support. Bye bye.